In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 things you need to know if you are a regulated professional. The meaning. Being a regulated professional in Canada means that your professional is governed by a regulatory body or organization authorized to ensure compliance with all the industry standards, which means a regulatory body of expert professionals is there to analyze all your actions. The steps. The steps to become a regulated professional in Canada may change for every different industry, but in general, they have some similarities. For example, the first thing you need to know is submit your application to the regulatory body in order to show that you are competent to at least request your license. So they're going to conduct a self-assessment with you to help you understand where you are in this process and what are the paths for you in order to become regulated. So they are going to assess your credentials and understand if they are actually equivalent to the same things that the professionals for your industry are required to obtain in order to practice in Canada. Language proficiency. You need to provide your test scores. If you're going to Quebec, you need to provide your proficiency in French, and all the other provinces in Canada are going to require you to provide your English scores. Examinations. You are going to be required to go through a written test to analyze all the competencies you have and analyze if you are ready to answer to technical issues during your daily routine. Internship or practicum. You have to complete a certain amount of hours under the supervision of a more experienced professional and provide to the government all the reports as an evidence that you have that amount of hours under the supervision. Foreign experience. Do you know how much of your foreign experience you can use in order to validate your regulation process? Well, the recognition of your experience outside Canada might vary according to the industry. Some professionals can validate a little bit of their foreign experience. Some professionals have to go through another 48 months of Canadian experience in order to use that for the regulation. It's very important for you to know how much you can use it because this can make your process faster, help you work in your field during the process, and supporting you on gaining Canadian experience. It's important to mention that there is a trend within the regulatory bodies right now that they want to make the process faster, so they are recognizing a bigger portion of your foreign experience. However, it's very important to understand that this doesn't mean that your immigration process is going to be faster. It's important for you to be very clear about the differences between your work, the development of your career, your regulation process, and the immigration process. Those are different things, and you need to understand the requirements for both. And if you have no idea from where to start, I highly recommend that you schedule an immigration consultation. The benefits. So what are the benefits to become regulated in Canada? First of all, for some cases, you just simply cannot practice what you do in Canada. You're not allowed to practice your craft if you do not have a license. Besides that, holding a license can increase your salary up to $30,000 a year. Can open the doors for you to work for certain companies which only hire regulated professionals and also can help you enrich your networking within the industry. But it's also very important to mention that this is a personal decision. Very often in our career consultation, we identify that for that specific client, becoming regulated right away is not the best option. For example, you can either go into another training, start to work, making a salary. Sometimes it's the case that people understand that for them it's better just opening a business and starting for themselves instead of going through all the process of regulation. So it's very important for you to assess your profile, understand the market in Canada and all the differences that Canadian labor market has in relation to your local job market. So I highly recommend that if you still are not sure about what are the next logical steps for you to become a permanent resident in Canada and also a regulated professional, I highly recommend that you schedule a consultation. Another thing very important for you to know is the practice before regulation. Many people think that you cannot work whatsoever in Canada if you do not hold a license. And that's absolutely not true. You can work, but you need to understand the type of job. You can do it. You're allowed to do it. Therefore, you need to understand the job responsibilities in accordance to your own skills and how exactly you can contribute to the new employer, and develop a networking and application strategy to go towards those positions. Because in this case, you're going to be able to make a salary, make a living, working close to other professionals, very often regulated professionals in your industry. You're probably going to use these hours for both your regulation process and your immigration process. So it's a very good idea to understand what you can do during the regulation process in order to prevent taking the wrong action. An approach that I have at my work is always establishing with the client the goal of asking him or herself, before taking any action, consider, is this action result in something that gets me closer or more distant from my permanent residence? And very often, starting the regulation process might take you a little bit away, because you are going to spend time and energy to become regulated, and maybe is not going to gain work experience that you need in order to become a permanent resident. So it's very important for you to understand your specific profile and what are the best options for you. And finally, I'm going to give you additional advices that I think might be helpful. First thing, before trying to become regulated, define the province that you are going to live. Because if you become licensed in one province and you want to move to another, you need to go through the process again. Sometimes not the entire process, but a good amount. So, establish the province before. Have a very clear career plan for your junior positions, medium positions, and senior positions as well. This is very important for you to understand where you want to go and what are the necessary actions you need to take right now. And last but not least, keep yourself persistent and don't pay attention when people say that this is really hard, that you're not going to make it, that it's not worth it. If you understand that this is the best path for you, I encourage you to keep trying, be determined, because this is going to pay off in your future. And if you're ready to become a permanent resident in Canada and bring your career here, I highly recommend that you go to our website and schedule a consultation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.